One thing that characterizes an addict is a street mentality. And that's what addiction does to us. A lot of people come from good homes, religious homes, homes where there was morality taught, and a whole lot of things like that. Then you have other addicts that come from broken homes, they were abused, and from day one, their mindset was, I need to survive in this world. I need to take care of myself in this dog eat dog world. And others, it's just a mere of, I just want to have fun. But one thing happens to both the people, and that's that they get to a point where their thinking is based on selfishness. Their thinking is based on gangsterism. Their thinking is based on, it's a dog eat dog world, and I need to survive in this cruel world. Our disease isolated us from people except when we were using, finding ways and means to get more meaning. If the purpose wasn't to try to use, or try to find ways and means to get more, we would isolate ourselves from people. We would isolate ourselves from healthy people, from family members, from good people, from moral people, from people that were not using. Hostile, resentful, self-centered, and self-seeking. That was us. That was me. We cut ourselves off from the outside world, meaning we cut ourselves off from the world that had nothing to do with drug addiction, that had nothing to do with alcoholism. The only place that we wanted to be in is the place where we could find drugs, a place where we could find alcohol, a place where we could get high, a place where we could steal. We were hostile people. We had that don't tell me what to do mindset. I don't want to hear from you. Don't tell me how to run my life. We were hateful, we were resentful, we were selfish, we were full of pride, we were haughty. Anything not completely familiar became alien and dangerous, meaning anything that we were not used to, be it paraphernalia, drug scenes, brothel houses, strip clubs, Nigerians, Hillbro, all these types of places that nurtured our using. That's the places that we liked. The only type of friends we wanted are people that nurtured our using. Our world shrank and isolation became our way of life. We became very lonely people. We wanted to be alone. We wanted nobody around us. We became very miserable and we hated company. We used in order to survive. Every time I stole that iron, or that kettle, or we sold things from home, or we stole from friends, or manipulated, or we were dishonest, or we were deceiving, or we were lying, or we were cheating. Anything along those lines, it was based on one thing. I need to survive the next minute, the next day, the next hour. I need to get high just one more time. It was the only way of life that we knew. We didn't know any other way of living. Everything else became alien and foreign. The only thing that we knew how to live is to get high, and to get more high. And anything else was foreign. And the only thing that we cared about was survival. And not survival of the fact that I just want to survive and be a happy person. Our survival was based on the fact that I want to survive and use one more time. Survival meant using, and using meant survival. It was a vicious cycle that took us around in circles, back and forth, going nowhere, slowly. Some of us used and misused and abused drugs, still do not consider ourselves addicts, and we were in denial. We thought that we had things under control. We thought that we were normal people. We thought there was nothing wrong with us. We thought this behavior is acceptable behavior. Though all of this, we kept telling ourselves, I can handle it. We kept telling ourselves that things are under control, that we know what we're doing, that we run the show, that we are the bosses, that we are the kings, that we are the masters of the universe, and everything's under our foot. Some of us, like myself, get to such a point where you get so arrogant that you're not even afraid of God, and you start thinking that you are God. Our misconceptions about the nature of addiction included visions of violence, street crime, dirty needles, and jail. If you've ever experienced violence, street crime, dirty needles, and jail, and that used to be your environment, that's part of your drug addiction. When our addiction was treated as a crime or moral deficiency, we became rebellious. And that's one of the things that describe what an addict is: a rebellious person. We were driven deeper into isolation. The more people judged us, meaning we did something wrong, we were hostile, we did crime, we did all kinds of things. And when people judged us, we became more hostile and we isolated ourselves more and more, driving more people away and lived in anger. That's one thing I lived in my addiction days. Anger. I hated the world. I hated myself. I hated everything that's got to do with my fiber and being. I had a low self-esteem because, growing up in school, I was rejected by a lot of girls. And that made me have a negative self-image of myself. I was raised by a stepfather, thank God, and he was a very loving man. He's been my stepfather since 2 years old. But my biological father hated and he rejected me, and we didn't have a relationship, and that did something to me. And when people insulted me because of how I look and the fact that I couldn't get a girlfriend, that made me have a lower and lower and lower self-image, negative self-esteem, lack confidence, and that drove me to my addiction because I wanted to fit in. I wanted to be loved. I wanted to feel good about myself. And drugs gave me that false sense of accomplishment, that false sense of confidence. If you look here, I had a scar on my face since grade 1. And because people tease me, people call me names, and I couldn't get a girlfriend because I wasn't the best looking of guys, that affected my self-esteem. And that made me think negative of myself. Well, I'd like to close with that for now. My battery space has run out and the video is about to shut. We'll continue with the session. May God richly bless you, and I hope and pray that you find recovery. Get yourself to a meeting, speak to your sponsor, get yourself a higher power, and start being service work.